Capricorn, Ali from Indigo Ascension. Welcome to your weekly quick read for the week beginning October the 4th. We have quite a lot going on up there in the cosmos with all of these planets in retrograde, along with this solar activity that's been going on. So let's keep this simple, or as simple as we can this week. I wanted to focus on a couple of astrological placements. Now, the first being that new moon in Scorpio, which is highlighting your 11th house, my friend. And of course, all of this heavy condensed energy that is falling in the zodiac sign of Libra, which is actually lighting up your 10th house, I should say. So you guys are working with 11th house and 10th house energies quite strongly this week. Now, when it comes to this new moon in Scorpio, I want you to rewind the clock cap back to a couple of weeks ago when Venus shifted in to Scorpio, which activated some energies in this area of your life. Now, your 11th house is your wider networks, is acquaintances. It is, this energy that embodies humanitarian concepts and beliefs and, being of service to the greater community. It also represents global stuff that's happening that ultimately impacts us too, and my role in the bigger picture. More practically speaking, the 11th house rules acquaintances and how we can make connections online or otherwise. 11th house also rules higher technology in that regard, so that's why it sort of represents online communication. So maybe there's been benefits or things that have been happening that were perhaps sparked a couple of weeks ago, an option, an idea, a connection that appeared, that was sparked for your 11th house area of life, okay? This new moon in Scorpio is like a new chapter in that regard for many of you, okay? There's going to be a desire to turn over a new leaf, or something can begin now, all right? So how that impacts each Capricorn is going to be different. The other energies I wanted to focus on, like I said earlier, is all of these planets that are in the sign of Libra, which is lighting up your 10th house, which connects us to career, success, the patriarch, business. So, redefining success. You can look at it on many different levels. When I'm working with 11th house energies and 10th house energies consecutively, there are many benefits, inspirations, global events are affecting my business, my ideas of success. I'm redefining success based on global events, based on acquaintances that I'm meeting. Acquaintances that I meet can benefit my business. These are the energies many Capricorns are dealing with at the moment, and how that applies to you uniquely is going to be different. The reading style I wanted to do this week, Cap, is as above, so below, because when we're working with deep retrograde energy, it's hard to sort of encapsulate everything that represents for everyone out there, even for the unique zodiac signs. And it can take quite a long time to gestate, as far as the wisdom lessons I have learned during Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde, whatever the case may be. It can take up to as long as a year. So I wanted to do an as above, so below, because as much as we can sort of talk about the beautiful gift of deep and inner soul work that can happen thanks to planetary retrogrades, more often than not, they are triggered by outside events, yeah? The relationships, circumstances, and changes outside of self that get presented on our path that sometimes, more often than not, trigger us to make a choice towards change, okay? Working with the mirror is a powerful pathway in which to go within to discover a new version of self that has developed new beliefs, perceptions, discovered a newfound sense of resilience. I could talk all day. All right, so I'm just going to do that by looking at two different tarot decks. The first one is the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, and the other one is a contemporary tarot deck called Journey Tarot. I really, am quite particular about the decks that I use, Cappy, but was really drawn to the optimism and the gentleness, nurturing energy that's coming across with these cards. I love her interpretation of the traditional tarot. Okay, my friend. All right, so there's something here about disappointment and heartbreaking news, perhaps, in many ways. When it comes to you, this could be just yourself. This could be your idea of success, your business. Maybe there's been a period of time, okay, where you have felt like you have been at conflict within or with outside of self, with others. And ultimately heartbreak has been, involved in that in some way. It doesn't have to be an emotional thing when it comes to relationships, but it certainly reflects feeling at odds and in conflict with people outside of self, people that I am connected to when I'm working with 11th house energies, okay? On some level or another, it may have affected 10th house, this idea of success. What is success? Okay, does it mean zero heartbreak? Does it mean zero disappointment? Does it mean zero conflict? Well, what if life is about being able to walk through these chapters of life, so that we can redefine what success is in that regard? I don't know why I'm getting that strong, powerful sort of, it's really 4th house, heart-based kind of energy, but it's relevant for some Capricorns out there, okay? This path to success, this path to this new version of yourself, you know, had to be paved through the challenging wisdom classrooms of heartbreak and conflict. I want to rewind the clock. Maybe the last 3 years tell a bigger story. Maybe the month of May this year was significant as well for some of you out there. There's something here about 11th house energies and the greater good and walking a challenging path. That's what I'm intuitively picking up for a lot of Capricorns, okay? You've got the Hanged One or Hanged Man, the Page of Wands, and the Hermit. You know what's common in this weekly for all of the zodiacs is the 7 of Swords card as well as the Hanged Man. And that's quite interesting because we have had quite a lot of placements in air signs. We had a grand air trine last year, so it was all about last week it was all about creating new perceptions and shifts. And you know what, Cappy, rewind the clock to who you were your last birthday season, you know, which was only just at the end of last year into this year. You're a different person. You've learned a lot. Yeah, these gestational periods for retrogrades can take some time to take root and deeply integrate, so that we can shift perception and see ourselves and our life with a whole new set of eyes. All right. Sorry, my camera's not focusing. I just want you to take a look. She's not sort of phased. Maybe you feel like you are in suspense or have been for quite some time. The other 2 cards that are showing up here is the Page of Wands and the Hermit. There's something exciting when the Page of Wands shows up, but it is not guaranteed to be sustainable. And I think for many of you, you guys are quite wise about that, thanks to the Hermit card showing up. Maybe something's going on outside of you. Changes are afoot in your greater networks and acquaintance circles, greater community. You know, when opportunities present that seem exciting, it's almost like many Capricorns I'm connecting into are really going into the wisdom of self and deciding, you know, is that still my definition of success? Okay, when I said, you know, you're working with 11th house and 10th house energies, there's something here about many Capricorns really looking at 10th house energies and redefining success. You know, but coming from a deeply wise and integrated space, when all these events outside of you and within you even have shaped who you are, a perception shift has happened for many Cappies out there, okay? That's the energy I'm seeing here, my friend. September has been an amazing month for really connecting in to the deeper messages of soul, for, you know, to be able to connect to the wisdom within, so that then you've gathered all your data from 11th house, your acquaintance, acquaintance circles, the wider world, your industry, whatever the case may be. You've taken that within and you have developed, you know, a shift in perception, and perhaps there's going to be movement in this energy that I'm seeing on the table as far as in the coming weeks. So I feel like many Capricorns, as they lead towards this next birthday season towards the end of this year, which actually isn't that far away, there's going to be some changes there. Okay, all right, my friend, that was your quick read. Hope you got something out of that. I have relaunched personal reading sessions. You'll find that in the bio link above, Cappy. Until next week, my friend, have an empowered week and take care.